All right, today we're going to talk about the incredible story of a man who became a national hero in one country while being almost completely forgotten in his own. This is the story of Dr. Dwarakanath Kotnis, a name that connects India and China in a way you probably never expected.
See, in China, Dr. Kotnis isn't just some dusty historical figure. He is an absolute legend. He has statues built in his honor, his story is taught to schoolchildren, and his grave is treated as a national landmark. I mean, he is deeply revered for his selfless service during a really brutal war.
And that leads to the big question, right? How can someone be so celebrated in one place, yet remain pretty much unknown in the country where he was born? It's a fascinating paradox, and we're gonna unpack it.
So to really get a handle on this, we first have to understand the sheer scale of his legacy in China. It's huge. Yeah, this isn't just some old statues somewhere. We're talking about his story being in kids' textbooks. There's an entire memorial hall dedicated to him in the city of Shijiazhuang. Every single year, the public covers his grave in flowers. There's even a medical team in Beijing named after him. His legacy is alive. It's woven right into the fabric of the nation today.
So, how on earth did a young doctor from Maharashtra end up here? Well, let's rewind and go back to the beginning to meet the man behind the legend. So, this is him, Dwarakanath Kotnis, born back in 1910. He came from a family of doctors and always wanted to be one too, but with a twist. He dreamed of practicing medicine all over the world. He was an adventurer at heart, eager to use his skills where they were needed most. And while the world gave him that chance in 1937, the Second Sino-Japanese War was raging, and the Chinese Communist General Zhu Dai sent out a desperate call for medical help. India's Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose answered that call, and by September of 1938, a medical team of 5 volunteer doctors, including our Dr. Kotnis, was on its way to China.
Now here's where the story takes a pivotal turn. After their mission was done, 4 of the 5 doctors headed back home to India. But one of them felt his work wasn't finished. Dr. Kotnis made the life-changing decision to stay, to continue serving on the front lines.
And that decision to stay? Well, it led to a period of almost unbelievable sacrifice. And this is really the foundation of his legendary status in China. Just try to wrap your head around this number, 72. During one particularly brutal battle in 1940, Dr. Kotnis performed surgeries for 72 hours straight. That's 3 full days and nights, without sleep, just saving lives as the battle raged on. And that wasn't just a one-time thing. For a 2-week stretch, his small medical team was pulling off an average of 50 operations every single day. The amount of work they were doing under those harsh, wartime conditions is just staggering. And if that wasn't enough to show you what kind of person he was, get this. A nasty plague broke out among the soldiers. Not only did Dr. Kotnis work to control it, but when it came time to test a new vaccine, he used it on himself first. He was willing to risk his own life before anyone else's. But you know, his story isn't just about war and sacrifice. Amidst all that chaos, he actually found love and started a family, which honestly just makes the end of his story even more heartbreaking. While he was working in a military hospital, he met Guo Qinglan, a Chinese nurse. They fell in love, and despite everything going on around them, they got married in late 1941. And this quote from his wife, it really gives you a glimpse of the man behind the hero. He wasn't just some stoic, serious doctor. She said he was vivacious, loved to sing, and told jokes that made her laugh constantly. He was a spark of light in some very dark times. In 1942, their son was born, and they gave him this beautiful, symbolic name, Yin Hua. It combines the Chinese characters for India, Yin, and China, Hua. Their son was, quite literally, a symbol of the bond between their 2 nations. But this is where the story just becomes tragic. The immense stress, the constant exhaustion of his work, it all took a terrible toll on him. Just a few months after his son was born, Dr. Kotnis passed away from epilepsy. He was only 32 years old. So his life was incredibly short, but his impact was massive. Which brings us right back to that first question we asked. Why the huge difference in how he's remembered? And when you put it side by side, the contrast is just stark. In China, you have this immediate, state-sponsored reverence. He became a symbol. His story was put into memorials, museums, and textbooks. But in India, it was a totally different story. His fame came much, much later, and it wasn't driven by the state, but by popular culture. So what changed? How did India finally learn about its forgotten son? Well, it was all thanks to the media. A best-selling biography came out in 1945. Then, a year later, a classic Bollywood film called Dr Kotnis Ki Amar Kahani, which means the immortal story of Dr. Kotnis, was released. Later on, even a comic book helped share his incredible story with a whole new generation. And really, his own sister, Manorama, kind of summed it all up perfectly with this quote. She said that if it wasn't for that famous filmmaker, Indians would have never even known how their brother saved so many lives during the war. A hero to millions in a foreign country who needed a movie to become known in his own. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other stories like his are still out there just waiting to be told?